loves, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie, and I know you saw the title of today's video. Did Amber Heard get married in secret while she's been on the run in Israel? I've got a big rundown of all of this. I know a lot of people have had a lot of questions because I've put up some videos, as you guys know, and go check them out. I'll have links in the cards. I put up videos all about Amber Heard being on the run. Now, what am I talking about? What am I referring to? I'm gonna jump into all this, but if you're new, hi, how are you? My name's Katie, and I like to giggle all the stuff that's just in the mainstream news and trending because we hear nothing about Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeff, an airplane, a little black book, and an island, but we hear nonstop about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So let's laugh at it and see what we can get. And if you want to laugh along with us, make sure and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Would love to have you. So what is happening? What am I talking about? Before I begin, first of all, the dress. The dress. I love this color. I love like blue, green, mint type colors. So I just love this. And then also, as my hair is getting healthier and it's growing out, I'll be trying some different things. No barrettes today. I know, it's not like I'm addicted to them. It's just like, I don't know what else to do with this hair, and I'm about to get another haircut. So hopefully a lot of this will be one length. We're getting there. Yay! I just had to share some good stuff. Now, what you actually came for. I mean, everybody obviously came for my $10 Shein dress. Funny enough, I had the best comment ever the other day. I promise I'm gonna get in this video. Somebody was like, I watch you every day just to see what outfits you wear because it looks like you went to the thrift store and just got anything you can that's ill-fitting. It was something like that. And you would think it's an insult. I died. I'm like, close. I order a bunch of stuff off of Shein and I don't know how this new body works and the proportions. You are very close. Anyways, it made me laugh. I wasn't even upset. I'm like, you know what? Touche, and go on with your observations of me. They're not actually completely incorrect. At some point, I'll just have to tailor everything to whatever this is as I, I've gotten a new body, so to speak. Anyway, let's talk. What was I talking about? Amber Heard on the run. So we know she's been in Israel for a while, which is kind of interesting because Israel is, I say this with love, and hey Israelis, hey, and anybody of the Jewish faith or any faiths that are there, I'm not trying to be at all disrespectful, but from what I've heard in the news, it's not the super safest of places to be right now, but she has been in Tel Aviv and she has been with her old pal or possible partner, Fartlow, as we know. Now, a lot of people have said this is a vacation, but I have some speculation. So, and I'll show you everything to match up what I'm saying, but I'm wondering, is she actually on the run? Now, when it comes to Johnny Depp, this wasn't criminal. So when I say on the run, I'm only referring to the civil judgment. Because let's look at the facts, right? Let's look at all of this. So shortly after the trial, of course, she goes to appeal. Well, first of all, we heard she was begging Johnny in private to let go of the money that she owes him, which he did not. And then boom, here comes the appeals from her. One's rejected, boom, here's another one. Now he's appealing. And I think she's feeling the heat. Now, first of all, Travelers Insurance, her insurance group, is now suing her because they can't cover defamation with malice. With malice means she intended to harm him and she knowingly did what she did. So financially, she kind of has no other choice but to appeal. Now, right after that, she sells her Yucca Valley home. She bought it at $571,000. She ended up getting $1.1 million, and then boom, she's off in Tel Aviv. It has a lot of people talking and a lot of people speculating. Now, here's where we're at. She has really ramped up, which I'm going to show you again, the PR in Tel Aviv. And I'm telling you, I think these are PR moves because she has been photographed with Eve Fartlow at restaurants. She was photographed with the owner, she was photographed in a bookstore, and apparently the owner came out and said she was wonderful and gave this glowing review of what a great person she is. And I'm not here to say whether she is or not. And then on top of that, there was all these pictures of her pushing around a stroller with no baby in it. And I'm obviously, as a parent, that happens sometimes, but all of it looks very, very staged, and the articles being written about her, it's nothing but pro-Amber, pro-positive, and it's all these manipulative spins. So here's what I think. So first of all, why is she in Israel? Not that Israel isn't a great place to be or visit, right? But people are speculating because Fartlow is with her that this has to do with Eve Bartlow. Now, Eve Bartlow is Jewish and she's Israeli. She does a lot of talking about, politics when it comes to that side of the world. And no disrespect, more power to her, right? That's what she wants to do. But people are thinking this is more than a vacation, first of all. Homegirl has repeatedly said, I don't have any money, right? Even her lawyer said she doesn't have the money to pay Johnny. So who's paying for this vacation? Or is it a vacation? Is this actually a move? And did she get secretly married? Let's look into all of that. We're going to go on my computer. Again, we're playing the game. Will my microphone cut out? Will it? Will it? Will it? I think we're good. Because y'all know, I hate to, if I can get away with not editing something, I will. Like, smarter, not harder, right? And I'm like, well, you guys, when you watch me, you don't just come to me for the info. You come for my personality. Like, and God bless y'all. You know what's funny? Okay, I've said this before, but I'll say this again. A lot of YouTubers, they do this very arrogant thing where they expect that everybody watches their content, and if you don't, they get offended. I am the opposite to the people that know me, right? And even like I have friends that met me because they were fans of my YouTube channel like years ago, and I'm still good. Like 2 of my closest friends were from my first round of YouTube, right? And it's funny because I tell them on routine, I'm like, don't watch my stuff. You have to listen to me routinely talk to you on the phone. Like, why would you then purposely go and watch a bunch of crap? So I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, don't watch my stuff. I mean, I say that. You can, obviously my friends can watch me, but I never expect that anybody does. So when they do, I'm genuinely surprised. I'm like, but you have a life. Why would you be watching the crap that I put out? But I love you guys. I say that with love. I'm so happy for everybody that watches me, and I'm so grateful to have you guys. So let's go ahead and let's look at some of the evidence. Now, when it comes, by the way, I have this little message that keeps popping up if you can see it. There's not enough space to save this document to iCloud. So I don't know. I've done something. I got to dump my documents or something, but that's why that's there. So let me tell you what this is a picture of. This is a picture of the last day of trial. Do you see anything interesting in this picture? Check it out. Down there, that is what we call the Star of David. Now, that is from the Jewish faith. Funny enough, she didn't wear that necklace all trial. And remember, she was doing all kinds of weird stuff and trying to copy Johnny. That's what she does. She mirrors people and tries to build this fake rapport with them, these fake connections, right? Or at least that's allegedly. I'm not saying that's all her relationships, but I think that's part of what she does. But that's also when anytime you've done sales and marketing, that's something they'll tell you about, trying to mirror the other person. There are all these weird psychological tricks. It's so strange. I love sales and I hate it because of some of that. It seems very manipulative. But I was very good at sales because I was always in the mindset, I'm never going to sell you something that's I don't feel is in your best interest. But that made people trust me, so people wanted to buy from me. So I ended up being like number one, and part of it was because I put your best interest first, and people feel that. They feel loved and appreciated, and they feel protected, which is what I do. So check this out. Why on the last day of trial we suddenly wearing the Star of David? Now, here's the more speculation. I'm about to get into it because there's some people coming out and saying some stuff, but I'll tell you what people are saying. They are saying that Amber Heard and Eve Fartlow have secretly gotten married or will be getting married, and it has to do with being in Israel. So here's the situation with Israel. Apparently, if she moves all of her assets to Israel and she relocates, then Johnny would have to do a whole new trial over there to be able to start collecting on her assets unless he's able to get to them beforehand. That's the thing about a lawsuit a lot of people don't understand. You can sue somebody all day, every day, and you can win. But if that person doesn't have the funds or they have enough time to, in a very sneaky way, move stuff around, you could be SOL regardless, right? So Johnny, if you're watching, because obviously I'm a big deal and Johnny watches me. No, seriously, get on it, boo. But we know this. I don't think any of this has to do with the money for Johnny. I've been saying this for a while. None of this has to do with the money. This was a PR move. This was to save his reputation and his career. I don't really think he cares so much about it, but he could do it just to send a signal to her, to knock it off. I'm kind of wondering if he's kind of like, if she's appealing, right? Okay, for him, it's like I'm matching energies with energies. So people think that that's the case. Now, we've had a lot of different questions we're going to go into on this. Like people have said, yeah, but if that's LGBT, does the Jewish faith recognize that? A lot of interesting things on that. I have all that info. Like I said, today's a deep dive. So all of a sudden, Star of David out of nowhere. Very interesting. Now, this is from Joseph Morris, by the way. Love Joseph Morris. He entertains me. So he has an insider, I guess, that reaches out to him. And when you're in the position of being a YouTuber, and especially the bigger you get people reaching out with information. That used to happen to me, and it still does a lot, right? So this is what it said. By the way, look at the from line. This cracks me up. From Israel. But look at the email, israel@turd.com. That's a legitimate source. I'm just saying, it's funny. Subject, the reason. It says, Amber plans on never going back to the USA. Not only is she virtually unknown in Israel, but she's actually converting to Judaism to gain Israeli citizenship. Rumor is she actually got married to Eve Bartlow in a secret wedding to help with this process. Amber will do anything to permanently reside there so she can avoid paying Johnny back. So here is the other part. We know there's more going on than just this lawsuit with Amber. In fact, I've detailed this in other videos, right? And if Amber was able to get some sort of Israeli citizenship, Israel can be a really big hub for people who've done criminal activities to be able to go to and escape without being extradited. That's a big place where, I'm not saying they don't extradite at all, but they're less willing to, right? And as a result, people think that Amber got married to protect her assets, and because then if she got married, she'd be recognized in the Jewish state, she'd be recognized there. And if all of these things, for instance, there's the IRS coming after her, right? Possibly. There's Australia. So it's not just her assets, but it's also all of these other things that could be coming on the pipeline to get her international arrest warrants. And as a result, it's safer for her to be there. Also, I think she's been there for like 2 weeks now. Pretty long vacation. I mean, obviously people go on longer vacations. In fact, in Europe, it's routine to get like 6 weeks off in the summer, which is just crazy to us as Americans or people in North America. But it is what it is. But then again, she's from America. She's not European. So now I want to go over some of these pictures too. This is my favorite because if you tell it, you could look at it. It looks like Eve Bartlow. I love this one. Is cutting up Amber's food, and Amber looks like she's begging for change. Why, I don't know. Now, let's get into this. Here's Amber and Eaton with Fartlow, and they got chopsticks, right? Now, here we go. Here's where she's pushing around the stroller. You ready? It has no baby in it. So, people have really speculated that all of this, that what we're seeing right here, this was a result of Amber calling TMZ, because we've heard from TMZ, we know this is what she does. She calls these people up and says, I'm going to be here at this time. But that's the thing, guys. Majority of these paparazzi things you see, it's all staged. The celebrities literally have them on speed dial and reach out to them. It's like a symbiotic relationship, right? Because one will make money off the other and vice versa. So you put out better PR, you're going to get better opportunities or get something that you're wanting to be able to get more money or be in a better negotiating position. So we know that she's prone to doing this already. Now, here's a photo that everybody, oh my gosh, this one is my favorite. The media took this and ran with it. They're like, Amber's in Tel Aviv and the vibe has changed and she was running around in this red, beautiful maxi dress and her wind-blown hair was just beautiful, and that all the Israeli people were just falling over themselves and creating a ruckus and ending their lives because she's in the street so beautiful. And you see this, and as I've said, Amber's a beautiful woman. I'm not putting down her beauty whatsoever. That's not what I'm here to do. But I'm like, she just looks like a tourist. This is, well, actually, this isn't considered a maxi dress, but I have tons and tons of maxi dresses, and I was just laughing. I'm like, it's just a maxi dress. I mean, it's cute. It's got little flowers on it. It's got little ruffles here, which is nice. And then this is apparently taken in this bookstore. You can see how Halper's Books. And this was supposedly from the owner. It says, say what you want about Amber Heard, and what little I knew of her was negatively influenced by the media as well. The person who browsed my store last Tuesday for almost an hour with her toddler baby girl and a couple of friends was a modest, polite, friendly, inquisitive, self-effacing customer with high literary tastes. In fact, I had no idea it was her until she presented her credit card. She's also now the proud owner of my book, The Bibliomaniacs, and promised to send me feedback on it. I love it that he's like, she has high literary tastes, but it's my book. It's funny because, like, okay, I'm an artist, right? And I grew up around artists. I grew up around entertainers and musicians, and a lot of them do this thing. They're very self-aggrandizing, and they can be, like, not all, but the majority of artists I've ever met, they're very stuck on their own creations. There's this, like, energy, and tell me if you've been through this. My art is the best art, and everybody else's art is crap compared to mine. And so I just kind of laugh when I see this high literary taste. Why? Because she bought your book, and maybe the book is good. I'm not here to argue whether or not the book is good or not. I'm just laughing because as much as I love artists, I also am completely, as I'm older, repelled by them because of that attitude. My art's the best. I'm like, shut up. Your art is just what you're expressing in that moment. So you think that your expression, or that you, by that nation and notion, you're better than other people. Not saying that's what the book owner or the bookstore owner thinks, but I did find that interesting. The other thing, like I said, we know that Amber mirrors. Amber is a quick study of people, and she'll be able to look at somebody and size them up quickly. What is it you want to hear so I can get what I want? And for her, could be good PR. It could be that she paid this guy to say these things. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying it's Amber Turd, and as a result, we can't put a lot past her. Now, this is also interesting, too. This was from a lawyer on Twitter. Check this out. It says, it would be quite smart of Amber Heard to transfer all her assets to Israel. Israel recognizes but does not enforce U.S. judgments. So there would need to be fresh proceedings there to recover. So the next big question that everybody has, which I totally understand, is, well, can she even get married to Eve Bartlow in Israel? And I want to say this with love to anybody who is Israeli and is watching, or who is Jewish and is watching. Hey, y'all, hey, by the way, to say J-E-W, can I say that? Is that like, see, and please don't, I feel like I'm offending everybody right now, and I'm trying so hard not to. Is that something that I can say as somebody who's not Jewish? Or is that looked at as a slur? Not that I'm saying it should be. I don't know. I don't really know much about Judaism, so please forgive me. I just want to make sure I'm saying things correctly. Kind of like, you know, Caucasian people should never say certain minority slurs in the U.S. And I don't even know, I'm not sure if I should compare it to that or not. I just don't know. Sound off in the comments. Please know everything I'm saying is in respect and love to everybody. I'm trying, but I think I just got canceled on like 3 different ways. Okay, but let's go into this to see, right? It says, this is from My Jewish Learning. I have a couple of things on this. And I'll just go over some things briefly. And this is about same blank marriage. And it says, the liberal Jewish movements are struggling to balance contemporary morality and Jewish tradition in deciding whether to ritually honor same blank unions. So just a little bit on this. It says, the issue of same blank marriage has been debated in the United States for many years now. And American Jewish communities have joined in on the discussions, adding Jewish values and ethics to the conversation. For Jewish communities, there are 2 primary questions. First, should the United States government legalize same blank marriage, offering people of the LGBT couples the same legal benefits that married heterosexual couples have? Secondly, should rabbis perform same blank Jewish weddings? And if so, can these ceremonies be considered, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try, Kedushin, the Hebrew term for holy unions. This would give them the same status as by the way, I don't have any issues with these words, guys. I just never know what YouTube is going to get mad at. That's why I have to be very careful. So non-LGBT marriages. The 3 primary liberal Jewish denominations are Reform, Reconstructionist, and Conservative, have been grappling with these questions for over a decade. In the Orthodox world, communities are still struggling with how to respond to members who are out of the closet and for the most part are not engaging with the issue of same blank marriage. So it looks like, now this is from the context of the United States. So just from that little bit, it looks like it's a debated situation. I'm assuming, and it says there's different kind of reformations, right? So I'm assuming there are different forms of Judaism that recognize things, and maybe others, the more conservative, the more like older devout, might not, which kind of makes sense. It's kind of the same with a lot of our modern day religions, right? Like Christianity. I know in the Christian religions, it's very big on anti-LGBT, but many more have become more inclusive and kind of gotten rid of that. I always do find it interesting though. And I'm not here to debate religion, but you guys know me, I like to weigh information. Almost every Christian I know eats bacon, and they're not supposed to, because their book says that. But my point in saying that is, it is always to me very interesting what we choose to cherry pick. And I've heard the debate, and people be like, yeah, but back then pork was considered not clean because of this, that, and the other. So, as we've gotten better technology and we've gotten better ways of, dealing with meat processing and stuff, we've been able to do away with that. Well, wait a minute. I thought this was, whatever you want to call God or whatever, this was the ultimate word. So why is it not the same then for the LGBT? Why, because a couple things that were said, how is that not just opinion, or how are we not taking that out of context? Why is it okay to change one thing but not the other? By the way, I'm not even trying to argue it. I find it interesting. Also, side note, everybody should have human rights. I don't care who you are. Period. Point blank, end of discussion. I just want to put that out there. I don't think, but you know what? At this day and age, I don't think anybody, unless you're really, really mean, would think otherwise. Even if you disagree with somebody's choices or lifestyle, it doesn't matter. People are people, humans are humans, people get their human rights. Or they should, and we should all go for that. Now, this says, this is interesting because that was for the United States, but what about Israel, right? Because that's going to be different, right? Different religions are going to be dealt with in different countries differently. It's just how it goes. For instance, y'all know this? Well, a lot of y'all who've traveled or who've lived in other countries do. I learned, because I've lived in other countries, that when you live in other countries, the way that their history, whatever they teach history, is going to be very, very different from what you grew up learning. Every country has their own spin and propaganda in the way they teach history. Isn't that interesting? I found that out in France, and I was like, weird. Okay, so here we go. And this is from, it says, Life for LGBT People in Israel. And it says, Israel is generally progressive country where lesbian, gay, Israel is a generally progressive country where the LGBT people live freely and openly. That's awesome. British laws against it, though, were inherited when Israel was founded in 1948. These were formally repealed in 1988. Love that. So it says, same-blank marriage. There is no system of civil marriage in Israel. Marriages can only be performed under the auspices? I feel like this is a word I should know. And I don't know how to pronounce that. Sound off in the comments. Of small number of recognized religious communities. Israel does, however, recognize those performed in other countries, and since 2007 has given full legal recognition to same-blank marriages in this context. Let's read that again. It says, marriages can only be performed under the auspices of a small number of recognized religious communities. Israel does, however, recognize those performed in other countries since 2007 and has given full legal recognition of same-blank marriages in this context. So, with that being said, it looks like there are some areas of the country where they do recognize it in certain subsects. And is it possible that Fartlow and Amber got married before she went over? And so here, let's keep going. And it says, LGBT couples may not be able to marry inside Israel, but in 2012, an Israeli family court granted the first same-blank divorce in the country. In 2013, a trans woman, Chen, Arizona, married her husband in a ceremony that was broadcast on national television news. Now it says protection against discrimination. LGBT couples in Israel have the same pension, inheritance, and medical rights as other couples do. This includes equal access to fertility treatments for women. Since 2005, I'm trying so hard to word this right, LGBT people have been able to adopt each other's children and enjoy full rights as parents. She has a child, so that gets interesting. In 1992, employment discrimination on the grounds of your orientation was outlawed. Inclusion of LGBT people in the Israeli military has been formally accepted since 1993. LGBT people now serve openly in the Army. That's awesome. Navy and Air Force with the same rights as those relationships for their partners. Religious attitudes. Curious on this one. Despite Israelis' progressiveness, life for the LGBT people can still be difficult in Israel. People who are scared of those people, those attitudes where they're scared, prevail in some traditional communities of all religions and culture. I mean, that's everywhere though, unfortunately. The religious Orthodox Jews or Jewish community in Jerusalem, I can't read today, in Jerusalem tried to put a stop to a 2005 Pride parade. When Pride went ahead, a religious Orthodox Jewish man hurt 3 participants with sharp objects. He was later convicted and given a 12-year prison sentence. Good. The established religious authorities in Israel are generally conservative in their attitudes towards the LGBT. However, traditional and progressive Jewish alternatives have proliferated. There are now religious Jewish LGBT groups that go around Israel, and even LGBT synagogue services in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. The leader of one of the prominent Orthodox Jewish LGBT groups is Rabbi Ron Yosef, who came out in 2009. And it says violence against LGBT. I'm not going to go through all this, just one more. Violence against LGBT people is generally rare, but still occurs. A central Tel Aviv center for young LGBT people was targeted in 2009, and 2 people were unalived in an apparent not nice crime. Although polls suggest a majority of Israelis support same-blank marriage, same-blank couples are still unable to marry in Israel and have to go abroad to do so. Interesting, okay? Non-Israeli citizens can live in Israel with their same-blank partners as permanent residents, but do not automatically receive citizenship. And although same-blank marriage couples can adopt and receive fertility treatments, it can be difficult for their children to be recognized as legitimate by official religious bodies. Very interesting. So at the beginning, though, it says, if I'm understanding that correctly, that there are some areas where it is recognized. So let's read that again. It says people support it. And it says non-Israeli citizens can live in Israel with their same blank partners as permanent residents, but do not automatically receive citizenship. Interesting. And although the same blank couples can adopt and receive fertility treatments. Okay. So it looks like, okay, so majority of Israelis support same blank marriage. Same blank couples are still unable to marry in Israel and have to go abroad. So it looks like, I feel like in reading this, there's a little bit of gray area, because in some of this, it's like, okay, well, some things recognize it and others don't, or maybe that's more in the religious context. Certain religious contexts or religious sects will recognize it, but maybe the state itself doesn't. But regardless, if they got married, like it said, they have to get married and come back. But if the person that they got married to is non-Israeli, it doesn't necessarily give them citizenship. But remember, this is Amber Turd. She's got a lot of money. And I've learned from immigrating. I've been an immigrant to places, right? You wouldn't think that, because when we think the word immigrant in the United States, typically, a lot of times we think of somebody who's fleeing a country, right? Well, in my case, I kind of felt that way. Not necessarily, though. I was one of the few people that I was like, if Bush gets into office, I'm leaving. And I actually did. I didn't really leave because of Bush, though. I mean, I'd leave for any political leader because I don't really trust any of them. But I think that it looks like there is some gray area. So then the question still remains, can she, from marrying Eve Fartlow, get citizenship? And I think, and this is what I've learned again from being an immigrant, with the right lawyers and right amount of money, a lot of things are possible. Now, in saying all this, have I seen any type of marriage certificate? No. Have I seen anything about this other than my speculation? No. But I will say, she's been over there for quite a while. And to me, this doesn't really look like a vacation. That's another thing. If she was just randomly on a vacation, why are you calling the paps to come take pictures of you? There's a lot of stuff, in my opinion, that just doesn't make sense, but I'm wondering if this is why she's kept Eve around. If this whole situation is about using Eve to get set up in Israel so she can avoid what's coming with Johnny Depp. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, I'm always curious. Sound off in the comments and tell me as well. If you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I just like to dive into all this and go into as much detail as I can because I find all this fascinating. This story is fascinating and continues to get crazier and crazier. And I'm just excited to see, are we going to have season 2 of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial? And if we do, how crazy does it get? Now, we know they've both filed appeals, and here's the thing, guys. I've heard so many people say, and it is true, appeals don't go through often, maybe 10 to 30%, if that. Most of the time, it's within the 20% range. But you got to remember, we're dealing with two people who have an extraordinary amount of money and extraordinary amounts of connections. Do not doubt that both might be able to get their appeals to go through. And I would just be ecstatic to see where that goes. We'll have to wait and see. But otherwise, guys, I think I'll end the video here for now, but I'll keep you updated on everything. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. Take care. Until the next video, as always, I'm giving everybody hugs, kisses, stay safe. And as always, this girl will see you soon. Bye, guys.